this lesson, you will learn about the definition of sequence. And without further ado, let us start with our lesson. Definition of sequence. So here is the definition of a sequence. A sequence is a set of objects or numbers that are in order. So you have learned in our previous lesson about searching for patterns, about those patterns. Actually, patterns in mathematics are considered sequences. And in our previous lesson, you also have learned the different patterns observed in a certain list for which those are said to be the rules of sequences. And what is a rule? A rule is a way, or sometimes it is a formula, to find the value of each term in a sequence. So in our previous lesson, all the explanations that we have given for each pattern are the rules of those specific patterns that we are now calling all of these patterns to be sequences. And just to give you one example, here we have a pattern which is a sequence in our today's lesson, for which you will notice that the next number is defined by adding a certain number to the previous number. In this case, we have our 1 here as the previous number, and if we add a 3 to 1, this gives us the next number 4. And if we do that same procedure, we can easily reveal the next succeeding number, such as the 7. So adding a 3 to 4 gives us 7. Adding another 3 gives us a 10. Okay? So this pattern is said to be the rule. So this pattern of continuously adding a 3 is now a rule. And let us proceed with some of the vocabulary related to sequences. So here is an example of a sequence for which we are calling such numbers by specific terms, such as the first term or the initial term for our first number 1, while here is the second term, while this will obviously be the third term, while this will be the fourth term. So you will notice that there is an ellipsis here, for which this suggests that there are infinite numbers of terms in this particular sequence. That means that the list of numbers goes on forever in this case. And sometimes a sequence is considered a set, so that is why you will see phrases like this in a sequence. And now let us consider the finite sequence. So what is a finite sequence? It is said to be a sequence for which it has an exact number of terms. So let me give you an example. So here you will notice that we only have an exact number of 4 terms in this sequence. So this is said to be a finite sequence for that particular reason. And to further realize what do we mean by finite sequence, let us proceed immediately with the other type of sequence. This time, it is the infinite sequence. And what is an infinite sequence? So it is said to be a sequence for which the terms goes on forever, which is usually indicated by an ellipsis. So here, you would notice that we have a list of numbers for which we have 4 known numbers in this sequence, but this ellipsis suggests that the list of numbers goes on forever. So this is an infinite sequence for that particular reason.